building their bureaucracies. They keep getting them bigger and bigger, so they get more and more votes for themselves.
Exactly. And then then the dependency on the system is, I think, the key here. They want more people dependent on it and then they're going to pull the plug on it. And this whole thing, it's not by accident. They're going to bring this thing to its knees. And then who knows? We'll get a war, an expanding war that'll prop up the stock market, pick up industrial production. And, energy, I think, is going to skyrocket moving forward here. Looking at commodities in aggregate, I think that's the place to be long term. And this is just, I'm just throwing some stuff out here.
Let me go on the energy. Let me stop on that.
Yep.
You're talking about war. What's not making the mainstream media is what's going on in Israel. They only put up little bits and pieces of it. There are, we write about it in detail each week in the Trends Journal magazine. And what's going on now, and again, this is not our language. This is coming like from the Financial Times, the Wall Street Journal, the far-right extremist government of Netanyahu. So what they're doing with the Palestinians is one thing, and now they're ramping up talk about escalation toward Iran. They're bombing Syria anytime they want. They just blew up a couple more airports, in Damascus and Aleppo. But here's what's going to happen. As you mentioned, I always say, when all else fails, they take you to war. Each week, for the last several weeks, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people are taking to the streets in Israel against the judicial reform laws that Netanyahu wants to put into place, which means there is no judiciary anymore. The politicians decide. So, as I say, when all else fails, they take you to war. He has to stay in office because he's going to be brought up on trial for corruption charges and any other things. As long as he stays in office, they can't touch him. So again, to get the people's mind, if they wrap this, if there is a military conflict between Iran and Israel, you're going to see oil prices, I believe, go to over $130 a barrel for Brent crude.
Oh, absolutely. That is going to happen. There's no doubt about it. I've been telling people that for the longest time. I think people need exposure to commodities and natural gas as well, though that's been quite a wild ride lately. 100%. This is where it's going to go. You can see the writing on the wall. That's where they're bringing us. That's what they want. Henceforth, why this tremendous new budget that they're putting forth with the Pentagon, what is it, another $1 trillion almost? It's unbelievable. But okay, they're going to do this, and we're keeping our people informed. We're letting them know what's going on. And it's, knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. And we need to keep our people at least in the know. And I think there's probably, honestly, I'm just going to say this, and I may take some heat for it. I don't think there's any two better guys than you and me that are keeping our people informed. I tell you the truth. I really believe that.
Yeah. No, we're doing everything we can. And everybody put that link to go to traderschoice.net and
check out the MMRI. Yeah, it's an amazing tool.
Looking at that. And staying on with the with this market and what's going on, and as you said, there's a lag effect of is that the word that you used?
Yeah, there's a lag effect when they're raising rates. There's always a lag effect, and we haven't even begun to see. Well, we haven't even begun to see the effects of this at all, and it's going to get a lot worse. So what are they doing? They're trying to, like I said, how we started out earlier, this, they're destroying the economy by design. They're destroying the economy by design. They're killing the consumer by design, creating dependency. And then we're going to get a new system that's going to be one of maximum control. In my view, that's where I think we're eventually going, this whole, on a worldwide scale, not just here.
Well, as we wrote about this 3 years ago, it was the cover of the Trends Journal back then, from dirty cash to digital trash.
Yeah, I remember that.
And that's what they're going to do. They're going to get rid of their $31.5 trillion debt. They're going to say something like the Russians hacked our banking system and you lost your money, but don't worry about it. We came out with a new currency. Everything is fine. Yeah. And so we're going to go from dirty cash to digital trash. In this week's Trends Journal, there's a big article about India.
Mm-hmm.
And yep, that's this week's trend.
I love that.
Yep.
Oh, that says it all. That says it all.
And India, boop, all it is digital. All it is digital anymore. And I remember when Modi did away with the rupee, that old rupee's no good. We're coming out with a new one. That was a couple of years ago. People have no idea about that. All forgotten. And now China, they were going toward the they're on a leading edge of going digital. Oh, that's only a country of 1.4 billion. Oh, and you talked about defense budgets. Another guy that really fights for freedom is Judge Andrew Napolitano, another paisano. And I do an interview with him every week. And I mentioned this week that the business of China, as I say, is business, while the business of America is war. America's defense budget, it's almost, $860 billion. When you put in the intelligence, which is an oxymoron, the CIA, NSA, it's over $1 trillion. We have 332 million people, $1 trillion roughly. China, 1.4 billion people. You know what their defense budget is? 224 billion.
What is it?
224 billion.
224 billion.
We have almost $1 trillion. They have two. So anyway, this is where it's going. And going back to what you said about the war, this is important. Last Friday, Olaf Scholz, the Chancellor of Germany, made a trip to have a summit with Biden. He brought no reporters with him. He flew in alone. They met for 1 hour, and there was no staff reportedly in the office. It was a conversation just between the two of them. Scholz got back on the plane and went back to Germany. I'm mentioning this because that's very strange.
It is very strange.
Because they're not talking about what they talked about. They wouldn't mention a word. So the question I have is Germany ramping up the war with the United States to fight Russia, or are they going to pull back?
I'm
just throwing the question out.
Yeah. I would say they're probably, look, what are they doing? They're obviously setting up alliances. This has been going on for a really long time.
Oh, yeah.
This whole thing, as you well know, the business of the United States is war. Okay. Yep. The propagation of war, the expansion of wars, this is going on in perpetuity. It won't stop, unfortunately. So yes, alliances are being made, deals are being made, cash is moving around here. And all this, whoever believes seriously that we still have any kind of resemblance of a free society at all, you got to be nuts. It's over. It's absolutely over, unfortunately. And they're pulling the strings. People are being strung along here. They're being told, again, what to say, what to think, what to believe via the mainstream propaganda ministries. Why people listen to that stuff, I have no idea. It's just out of control. It's about control.
This was the cover of the Trends Journal back in 2014. You see how happy that guy is? It's the American